Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to my kitchen. I am Bee from Thermomix, and we'll be doing some fantastic options this week in celebration or anticipation, I suppose, of something exciting coming. But let's get started with this recipe, and I'll be able to chat with you about that while we are doing this recipe. So what I have selected for today is perhaps something you guys have not seen on Cookie Do before. So if you have a look and search up black bean brownies, you will be able to see this exciting recipe from Louise Keats. Absolutely brilliant, and you'll see how simple it is. Let's walk through these processes. The first thing that we're supposed to do is to start off the soaking portion of the black beans together with water. But if you actually have a look at the hints and tips at the bottom of the recipe, it explains to you that if you don't want to do this process of preparing the beans for yourself, you can go ahead and get 2 cans of black beans. Make sure you rinse them, and then you can use 350 grams. Now that does mean there will be some leftover for you. So all you need to do is just use that up in some salads, or if you want to, you can use it in a stew or something else. Add a little bit of extra protein and fiber into another extra dish. So 350 grams is what we're going to be using today, because I'm using my tinned beans. So it will walk you through the process of weighing out 170 grams of your black beans, and then covering that and soaking for 5 to 6 hours, or preferably overnight, and that will make it a little bit easier to do the next part, which is drain that through your simmering basket, and then add in your beans and your water, 600 grams worth of filtered water. And then once you have put that in, put your simmering basket on the top instead of your measuring cup. In other words, there will be an opportunity for the steam to release a lot better. And then what you want to do is cook that for 30 minutes on 100 degrees, and then it will be reverse speed 1. So it means it's not going to break up your beans, but it's going to cook them. So we're going to skip over that part, but like I say, if you do want to do that and avoid having tins, you can do that for yourself. So you obviously will then drain those beans once they come out, and clean and dry your bowl, and then preheat your oven to 160 degrees Celsius. Then what we will do is make sure that we can start this recipe, just so that you know you can grease and line a cake tin, a square cake tin about 20 centimeters, and then put that aside, and then we'll start with this part of the recipe. So 100 grams of dark chocolate is what we'll be using, 70% cocoa, but I am going to be using some melts. I know I'm cheating, but I'm using what I have. So that's 40 grams, and I do have some good quality chocolate here that I'll be using the balance of. So I know that because we've had some issues when it comes to logistics and getting some ingredients from the shop, it is difficult. So just use what you have. Don't be too afraid of that. If you have just the normal milk melts, just use those. So don't be too concerned. All right. Next thing we're going to do is chop up the chocolate. So speed 10 seconds. Speed 7. I'll just show you what the chocolate looks like, and that will then be melted. Alright, so that's how fine it is, and then that needs to be melted for 2 minutes on 60 degrees Celsius, and that will be on speed number 2. So this first portion is basically to make sure that your chocolate is shredded fine. And the reason it is being done like that is so that it will melt a lot quicker. So I don't know if you noticed, but obviously if I've got a large melt and the button is about that big, in comparison to something that is a lot smaller, it means the smaller piece will definitely be able to melt a lot quicker. So that's why it lands up being blitzed up first, and then it only needs 2 minutes worth of melting for the chocolate. So I know sometimes some of the steps don't seem like they make sense, but for this specific recipe, absolutely, you want to make sure that you are doing this, the shredding, so that it can melt a lot quicker. Then the next part of the recipe is to add in a couple of ingredients. I'm going to show you at the top right hand of your TM6, you will notice there is a preview button, or next to it there are 3 dots that are horizontal. You can actually touch that button, the 3 horizontal ones, and a mini menu will pop up. What you can do then is touch on the second option, which is your recipe detail. And what that will do is take you back to the first page. You can use your little down arrow and then scroll up and have a look what the next step is, so that you can get those ingredients ready or know what is going to come up next. So what we'll be doing is adding in your cooked beans, and then coconut oil, eggs, raw cacao, vanilla, and some coconut sugar. Now, if you don't have some of those ingredients, for example, coconut sugar, you can just use your normal raw sugar or your white sugar. That's up to you. So just a little note on Louise Keats. She is a fantastic nutritionist who has developed some wonderful recipes for cookie dough. And if you are looking after your gut, this is one of the recipes that she has in her creation, her collection, that is about gut health. So have a look at that. Like I say, black bean brownies, and she does have some great information in the hints and tips portion. Go and have a look at that, please. That will definitely help you out there. So black beans, pop those in, 350, and then 60 grams worth of your coconut oil. If you don't have coconut oil, you can use whatever oil you have. I wouldn't use olive oil. That's the only one I wouldn't use, because it'll have a very strong taste. Alright, so let me move that out the way. Next, it calls for 3 eggs. So I have gone ahead and I've opened these, cracked these ahead of time. So the whole eggs, pour that in. The next ingredient is 30 grams of raw cacao or cocoa. It's up to you. Just for those of you that don't know, the difference between the two is the way it's processed. So 30 grams. I'll just explain. Cacao does not have heat process, and what that means is it will retain its nutrition. So that's really a great thing about Louise. She adds in some good nutritional benefits, if that is something that you're looking for. Alright, next, 2 teaspoons worth of natural vanilla extract. I finished my home one, so I'm going to use the one from the store. Little tip for you, top right where I mentioned those 3 dots that are horizontal, click on that and call up your scales. Instead of bringing out a teaspoon, you can just put in 5 grams for 1 teaspoon, and because we're doing 2, I'm going to make it up to 10. And that saves you on washing. A little tip. Alright, next is 80 grams of your coconut sugar. I'm just using my leftover brown sugar because I want to make sure I am cleaning out my pantry. So next is to put your lid on, and this, now a little tip for you, it actually says here, turn your selector to speed number 4 and then increase your speed gradually to speed number 9. Now it's 4 minutes worth of cook time, so I'm going to do that, and then once it gets up to 9, I will see if I can try and talk to you. So go up to speed 4, let that increase, and then just incrementally increase the speed up until you reach speed number 9. Any higher than that. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me, hopefully you do, because I don't have the microphone on. But the option is to also add some nuts. So it does say in the recipe to use walnuts, but I'm actually going to be, the option is available for me to use some blanched almond hazelnuts. I'm just thinking now, I should have actually blitzed this in the Thermomix before I started the recipe. So maybe what I'll do is leave this one out. It is an optional ingredient, but use whatever nuts you have. And obviously if you are nut-free in your house, then don't be using any nuts in this recipe. You definitely don't want to do that. So just to let you know, the reason for doing this recipe today and also the one I'm doing on Thursday is because there is a brand new addition to the Thermomix family, which is a black option. So instead of having the white one, the option is to have a black machine. And I will be hearing more information about that this evening. So if that's something you're interested in, please let me know, send me a message, or otherwise contact me however you can, and I will be able to let you know some more information about that. Because the new black edition, it's not for everybody, but it is available for those of you that do have a black kitchen, or perhaps you would like to have a black accessory on your countertop. So let me know if that is an option for you. And that was the reason why I was doing some of these recipes this week that are black or dark. So the recipe we're doing on Thursday is a gluten-free chocolate tart. So join me on Thursday for that recipe that you'll be having a look at how easy it is to make a gluten-free option for your family and for your friends. Maybe you've got somebody who's a celiac and they need to have that type of creation in their lives. So I just wanted to double check. It's 1 more minute. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions about your Thermomix. If you need some information or some assistance, that's what I'm here for. We'd love a demonstration at your home, or we can do it virtually. Please let me know. I'd love to share Thermomix and how it can change people's kitchens. So if that's something that you're also interested in, please let me know. And it's a very quick event. It can go 30 minutes if it's virtual, up to an hour if it's not virtual or in-house. So just let me know if that's something you're interested in, and you'll be rewarded with a discounted post reward as a result of sharing the Thermomix love. So as I say, if you have any questions, let me know. Alright, so the next part of this recipe is scrape down those sides, and then we're going to add in the baking powder. I'm actually going to show you what this mixture looks like. So lots of chocolate, delicious chocolate, and it's very, very smooth. I'm quite surprised. I don't think I've made this recipe before, so I'll have to let you know what my family think of it. They don't know that there's some beans added in there, unless obviously I let that little secret slip, or maybe they're hearing me now. But all good, I will let you know. And if you have tried this recipe, please let me know. I would love to find out and see if your family and friends have enjoyed this recipe. So next part, in this case we do need a teaspoon. It's a teaspoon of your baking powder. So that's most probably what I'm looking at. And then, there we go, there's the option of the walnuts, 50 grams of those, you can add that in. And then what we're going to do is blitz this up, 15 seconds, speed number 4, and then it's going to be decanted into that square cake tin and baked inside your oven at 160 degrees Celsius. So I'll just wait for this to finish and then I'll explain the rest. Okay, so there we go. Put into your prepared tin, and then smooth off the top. The option is to actually sprinkle a couple of cacao nibs on top of that if you want to do that. If you don't like cacao nibs, maybe they're too crunchy for your teeth, once it comes out you can sprinkle it with a little bit of sugar, icing sugar if you would like to. That's optional, it's up to you. But basically 25 minutes, 160 degrees Celsius, or until just cooked through. And then what you want to do is let that cool down in your tin, and then you can cut that into 16 squares. So that is the recipe, super easy. The machine did all the hard work. I will show you the mixture so you can have a look. Lovely, and I know I shouldn't say this, but moist, lovely and moist, and it smells absolutely gorgeous. I would never guess that there's beans inside there. It just smells like chocolate. So I will send a final result, a picture of what this looks like at the end after it has come out the oven, so that you can see what it looks like. If you have any questions, let me know, but I will be back again later on this week with another recipe to show you from your Thermomix, or I should say from my kitchen and my little Thermomix, and you can see if you'd love to try this recipe out. So have a fantastic one, and I will see you again soon. Take care.